कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita every day, purely by Krishna's mercy only. So we finished 2 slokas in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge. For those who are joining for the first time, I welcome you all for this Bhagavad Gita class, Bhagavad Gita lecture. And I'm going to cover slokas from all the chapters so that way you won't miss anything. So here Krishna is giving the most confidential knowledge to us, by knowing which we will be freed from the miseries of material existence. In this material world, when we go and study and get education and get degrees and whatnot, we are trying to solve our problems of like in the life. Basically, we want money, we want nice house or nice car or whatnot. Materially speaking, we want to be very opulent. And that's why we are going and studying and getting education. So with degrees, with good education, we can get nice jobs and we can settle very nicely in this material life, because this knowledge is helping. This knowledge, in the material knowledge, what we are gaining, those degrees are actually helping us to get what we want in this life for our material needs, to fulfill our material needs. But what are our spiritual needs? What is our spiritual need actually? There is only one spiritual need. What is that? So how to take care of ourself, Atma? So what is that? What is the need? The spiritual need for Atma is to free from this material existence itself. So we are getting material education. So we are studying different kinds of subjects and we are getting specialized in different fields of like science and arts and economics and business and whatever we want to gain, and all those things to gain like money, to gain this materially speaking, whatever we want to take care of our material needs. We are able to take care of our body. If we get good money, then we don't have to struggle hard and we are able to take care of our bodily needs. But do we know what our Atma needs, what our soul needs? What is the need? Do we know that? The soul doesn't need this body, first of all. That is the main thing we need to understand. We are trying to take care of our body, but the soul doesn't need this body. So there is a problem. The soul having this body itself is a problem. So we need to get rid of this body. That's what the soul needs. The spiritual need is to get rid of this material body. So for that, because all the problems what we are having is because of the material body only, it's coming for the soul. All the suffering we are going through, all the struggle we are facing in this material world, everything is because of our body, existence of our body. As I quote very often from Bhagavad Gita, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Birth, old age, disease and death. So all these four problems, dukkha dosanu darsanam. So those are all the problems because of due to the existence of this material body. Because of that we are struggling in this material nature. We are suffering, we are struggling in this material nature because of the existence of this material body. So the soul needs to get rid of this material body. So that way there is no point in just getting the material education, going to colleges and everything and getting degrees and everything. So that alone is not enough. That alone is not going to help to solve the root cause of our problem. The root cause of our problem is to get rid of this material body fully, completely, permanently. See, a person who is not able to take care of this body and in this material world, and people commit suicides. And especially when the mind is not in our control, when the mind goes out of control, that becomes our worst enemy to the extent that one will kill himself, just committing suicide. So that way the mind has become the worst enemy. See, for a person who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the worst enemy. Bandhuratmat atmanastasya yenatmaiva atmana jitaga anatmanastu satrutve vattetatmaiva satruvat. So for one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the worst enemy. So that way, our real problem is actually this body itself. So we need to have the spiritual knowledge, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, by knowing which we will be freed from the miseries of material existence. So that means Yajnatva Mokshashe Asubhat. So that means we will be freed from this material body itself. Then we will no longer be forced to take material body. Jara Marana Mokshaya. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashit yadantiye te brahma tadviduhu kritsnam adhyatmam karmachakhilam. In order to get free from jara and marana, old age and death, jara, marana, old age and death, jara, marana, mokshaya, mamashitya yatantiye. So they take shelter unto me and then they will worship me. They will engage in my service. So, mamashitya yadantiye. That's what Krishna is saying. Yesam tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaga bhajante mam drata vrataga. So, they worship me with faith, with great determination. Bhajante mam drata vrataga. For what? Te dvandva moha nirmuktaga. To get freed from the dualities in this material world. Dvandva moha nirmuktaga. Esam to antagatam papam janana punya karmana te dvandva moha nirmuktaga bhajante mam drita vrataga. With great determination. So that way we need to get rid of this material body completely. We should not be taking another birth in this material world. So for that we need the knowledge. We need the education. Spiritual knowledge. So that is just the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Enough. More than enough. Just knowing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is just more than enough. There is no need to really go through different scriptures, Vedas and Puranas and Upanishads and all such things are not needed. Because everything is given in Bhagavad Gita. Everything is given in Bhagavad Gita. That's why Krishna very clearly said that just by knowing this, there is nothing else is there for you to know. So in one sloka, Krishna is saying that Yajnatva Mokshashe Asubhat. By knowing this, by knowing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, You are freed from all miseries, from the pangs of material miseries. Yajnatva mokshase asubhat. Before that, Krishna is saying in another sloka that Yajnatva Nega Bhuyo Anyam Nyatavyam Avasisyati. There is nothing else is there for you to know by knowing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, by understanding Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing else is there for us to know. And by getting this Bhagavad Gita, we are freed from the miseries of material existence, because by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we know how to act. No colleges teach us how to act. Nobody takes the lecture. Nobody gives the lecture that how to act, how to do our activities, how to do our duties, how to perform our duties, and what kind of duties we should do, and what kind of activities we should not do. We should perform only prescribed duties. Niyattam karma. Niyattam karma means prescribed duties. Niyattam kuru. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayogi akarmanaha. So it's better to do our duty instead of not doing anything, and that way we should do the prescribed duties. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is actually enough for us. There is no other knowledge needed for us. So yajnatva nega bhuyo anyati nyatavyam avasisyati. But with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching us about what is karma, what is our duty. Tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mokshase asubhat. So I shall explain to you what karma is, by knowing which you will be freed from the miseries of material existence. So, in the 9th chapter, first sloka, Krishna taught us that idam tute guhya uttamam pravakshyami anasuyame jnanam vijnana sagidam yajnatva mokshase asubhat. So this is the most confidential knowledge, and we are understanding because we are not envious of Krishna. So we believe in Krishna. To get material education, the degrees, when we go to colleges, we need to qualify. We need to write entrance exams, and it's very competitive exams, and we need to get excellent grades in our schools and all such things, because to get admissions is not that easy. But to get admission into this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in Krishna's school, Krishna's Bhagavad Gita school, the admission is very easy. So just only one question is asked, only one entrance exam, only one question is asked. That's it. Just that too, it's a yes or no question. That's it. It is no multiple choice questions, no hard questions, no difficult. We don't have to prepare a lot. We don't have to struggle a lot. Just only one question is asked. Do you believe in Krishna? Do you believe in Bhagavad Gita? That's it. So do you believe in Bhagavad Gita? That is the only question. If we believe in Bhagavad Gita, if we just say yes, then we are already admitted. That's it. Admission is given. Admission is granted to study this Bhagavad Gita. Then when we get educated, then Krishna is teaching us in Bhagavad Gita, I will teach you. I shall teach you what karma is there. So Krishna is teaching us. Krishna is a teacher. Krishna is a professor. Arjuna was a student, and in the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna was asking a lot of questions to Krishna, and Krishna answered all the questions. And Krishna taught this entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the middle of the battlefield. Now we don't have to struggle like that. Just from wherever we are sitting, and Krishna is now arranging, Krishna has written this Bhagavad Gita book, the Song of God. So we are just using that book as a textbook, and we are studying the Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna has already taught us. And Krishna is teaching, Krishna is talking through this Bhagavad Gita with us. Krishna is all the time, constantly, Krishna is in communication with us through this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that way, we know what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma, what is duty, what we should do, what we should not do, and what is the forbidden activities. All such things we understand from Bhagavad Gita very, very well. So when we get degree in this Bhagavad Gita, then when we understand this Bhagavad Gita completely, when we follow all the instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, our life is going to be very, very blissful, beautiful, really enjoyment. So much of enjoyment we are going to get when we have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. That's what in this sloka, what we studied yesterday in the second sloka in the 9th chapter, Krishna says there, Susukham Kartum. It can be very joyfully performed. It's giving us so much joy at this point of time when we are listening to Krishna, when we are understanding this Bhagavad Gita, it brings us so much happiness. That's the reason every day we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. Because at this point of time, we are not thinking about anything else. Our mind is completely filled with Krishna at this point of time. Because when we are studying Bhagavad Gita, when we are listening to Bhagavad Gita, that means we are directly listening to Krishna. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the source of everything. Everything comes from him. And there is no one above Krishna. And we are able to now connect with Krishna through this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because our mind is now focused only on this Bhagavad Gita, nowhere else. So when our mind is focused only on this Bhagavad Gita right now, only we are studying Bhagavad Gita, only we are talking about Krishna, only we are understanding Bhagavad Gita. So our mind is not disturbed at this point of time. Our mind is completely peaceful right now. And because of that, we are happy right now. We are enjoying right now. So this is the real enjoyment. The real enjoyment what we are getting right now is by studying this Bhagavad Gita. And the more and more we connected with this Bhagavad Gita, we understand all these slokas, and every day we recite these slokas, we spread this message of Krishna, we share this knowledge with others. So that way, if we make our life full of only this Bhagavad Gita knowledge all the time, then it's going to be very, very blissful. We are going to enjoy like anything. But one important thing, this thing can be done while doing all our other activities. It is very much possible. Because this Bhagavad Gita is studying Bhagavad Gita, spreading Bhagavad Gita, sharing this knowledge. This job we can do without disturbing what we are doing right now. So that way, our material needs will automatically get fulfilled by Krishna's mercy. And our spiritual needs, like I said in the beginning, we need to understand what is our spiritual need. Our spiritual need is to get rid of this material body. So our material need is to take care of our material body, and our spiritual need is to get rid of this material body. And we need excellent working body to get rid of this material body. So that way we need to get out of this place. This is not a good place for us to live, for us to come back again. So once we die, just go, that's it. Don't come back to this material world again. But unfortunately, that's what is happening, because when we don't have this spiritual knowledge, like a person who doesn't have material education, he will suffer. He cannot get good job. He will not be able to take care of his basic needs actually. But similarly, a person who doesn't have the spiritual knowledge is going to suffer. The soul is going to suffer. We won't be able to take care of ourselves. When we say take care of yourself, are we really taking care of ourselves? Take care of yourself, take care when we say. How we can take care of ourselves without even knowing about who the self is? Who am I? Who am I? We need to have the answer for this question. Only in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching this complete knowledge about who am I. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very important. We are all very fortunate. We are very, very fortunate that we are having faith on this knowledge. We are studying this Bhagavad Gita. We are making progress, and we are definitely going to get rid of this material bondage forever. Karma bandham, janma bandham, everything is going to be freed. We will be freed. Only we don't know when that is going to happen, but that's going to happen for sure. There is no doubt about it. We don't know, but we are going to be freed from this material bondage for sure. It all depends upon how sincerely, how nicely we are making use of this time, what is given to us, this availability, this facility, this human body. So this knowledge. So everything, if we make use of it very well, very nicely, then definitely we are going to go to Krishna's well. We are going to get rid of this material wealth forever. That's going to happen. That's what we studied in the entire 8th chapter. So attaining the Supreme, Krishna taught us how to reach him, how to reach Krishna. Krishna taught us very clearly, because with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when we understand that we are not the body, we are the self, and when we realize that we are struggling hard in this material world, and when we know that we need to control our mind and make our mind as a best friend, just by focusing our mind on Krishna all the time, so then definitely we are going to remember Krishna at the time of death. So then we are going to get rid of this material world, this material bondage, this bondage to work, bondage to birth in this world. Then we are going to go to Krishna's world. That's going to happen for sure for us. We are in the right direction. So now we need to do this service, very important service of this spreading Krishna's message, this Bhagavad Gita. We are studying. So the best way to study ourselves, the best way to understand this Bhagavad Gita very well is just to share this knowledge. Make as many devotees as possible. So now in this sloka, what we are studying in the third sloka in the 9th chapter, Krishna is teaching us that Asraddadana Purushaha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Asraddha Danaha Purusha. Asraddha means one who has no faith. Asraddha. Asraddha Dana Purushaha Dharmasyasya Parantapa. Dharma means this Bhagavad Gita. One who has no faith on this Bhagavad Gita. So Shraddha. Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. If you have faith, Shraddha means faith. Asraddha means no faith. So Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. Faithful person gets the knowledge. Then the faithful person, because after getting the knowledge, he will be able to control the senses. So Tatparaga Samyate Indriyaga. Then when we get the knowledge, with the knowledge, since we are able to control our senses with the help of this knowledge, since we are able to control our mind with the help of this knowledge, we will be able to attain everlasting peace of mind. Jnanam labdva param santim nachirena adhigacchati. But a person who is not faithful, who has no faith on this Bhagavad Gita, that means he is ignorant. So Agnyascha Asraddhadanascha Samsayatma Vinasyati. So a doubtful person, Samsayatma means a doubtful person who has no faith and who is fully ignorant. So he is destroyed. Nayam lokosti naparo nasukam samsayatmanaga. Not only in this world, he won't be happy in any other world also. There is no happiness for that person. The same thing Krishna is repeating here in the 9th chapter, 3rd sloka. The other one we studied in the 4th chapter. So here Krishna is saying that Asraddhadanaka Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante. Aprapya Mam. Aprapya Mam means not able to achieve me. That's what Aprapya Mam. So Aprapya Mam Nivartante means they will come back. So they won't be able to come to me, but they will come back. Nivartante. When we don't have any faith on this Bhagavad Gita. Asraddha Danaha Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante. And where he will come back? Mrityu Samsara Vartmanim. So this Mrityu means death. So in this material world, when we come back again, we are going to die. But if you go to Krishna's well, we are not going to die anymore. If you go to Krishna's well, then there is no more death. There is permanent life, blissful life, Sukhalayam, Sasvatam. So when you go to Krishna's well. So our goal is to go to Krishna's well, Goloka. That is going to be possible when we have faith on this Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Krishna is teaching this both Jnanam, Vijnana, Sagitam, both theoretical and practical knowledge Krishna is teaching us. And when we study this knowledge, when we get this knowledge fully, when we are able to practice this knowledge, then we are going to be freed from this material veil. Yajnatva mokshase asubhat. So we will be freed from all miseries. So that way, by Krishna's mercy, we are able to get this knowledge because we are having faith on this knowledge. That's why we are able to continuously make progress. And we have successfully finished the 3rd sloka in the 9th chapter today. And we will continue to study from tomorrow. Hare Krishna. I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. I'll hand over to Siva Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guruji. It was wonderful to connect with the 4th chapter and 9th chapter and study this sloka. Those who have faith and those who don't have faith. Definitely. Thank you so much, Guruji. We have so many new devotees who have joined as well as regular devotees. I just want to make an announcement to the devotees. If you have any questions, kindly post in the chat. Kindly post in the chat so that Guruji can answer and I can read out the question.
And they can even raise hand option.
Raise the hand. Yes. Yes. You can also use the raise hand feature and you can talk to Guruji. I will unmute few regular devotees and then I will unmute the existing devotees. I will unmute Surajit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna,
Good evening. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
I understood what you taught today. I understood clearly. No question from my end. So, day is going. My questions are coming less.
Yes.
So I'm good. No questions from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Siva Prabhu. Also, he is doing his work very nice way. Thank you both. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. As you rightly said that when we study more and more, everything will be completely clear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. It feels like the devotees are Arjuna and you are the Krishna. Everybody's question is like getting clarified.
Krishna is always Krishna, Prabhu. That's it. We are all Arjunas. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. I see some new devotees.
The question is, what is the difference between mind and the soul? Mind is separated nature, Binna Prakriti. It's a part of material nature. Prakriti, Binna Prakriti means separated nature from Krishna. So Krishna says in the 7th chapter, 4th sloka, Bhumir Apo Analo Vayu Kam Mano Buddhir Evacha Ahankaram Itiyam Me Binna Prakriti Astada. So earth, water, fire, air, space. Bhumir Apo Analo Vayu Kam. Then Mano Buddhir Ahankara. Mano is mind. Mind, intelligence and false ego. These 8, Astata, these 8 are my separated material nature. Binna Prakriti Astata. Whereas soul is Para Prakriti. Apreyam Vitastvanyam Prakritim Viddhime Param. So this is Apara. This, whatever these 8 separated nature, they are Apara means they are inferior. Apreyam Vitast Anyam Prakritim. There is another Prakriti that is Param. That is superior. So Apreyam Vitastvanyam Prakritim Viddhi. Viddhi means you know. Me Param. That is my superior Prakriti. So again Krishna is saying that Apreyam Vitastvanyam Prakritim Viddhi Me Param. Me Param means it's my superior nature. Also Krishna said that Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kammano Buddhiri Evacha Ahankaram Itiyam Me Binna Prakriti Rasada. So there is Me Binna, this is Me Param. So there is a separated 8 natures. So this is a Krishna's nature. This is a superior nature, Krishna's. So Para Prakriti, that is Jiva Bhuta. Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Daryate Jagat. So there is the Jiva is the Atma. So there is Jiva Bhuta. There is the soul. So Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Daryate Jagat. So by whom this world is exploited. That's what Krishna is saying there in the 7th chapter, 5th sloka. So in the 4th sloka, Krishna said that they are Binna Prakriti. So that way, the difference between soul and mind is that the soul is completely a spiritual entity, spiritual nature, whereas mind is a part of this material nature. But the mind can control the soul. If the mind is, with the help of mind, the soul can liberate from this material bondage by focusing the mind on Krishna. Because mind is the only tool in our hands to connect with Krishna. So we can connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, only with the help of mind. So that way, mind is a very important tool. So because mind can remember, mind can think, mind can focus all such things. If the mind thinks about the material sense objects, we are in trouble. If the mind thinks about Krishna, then we will be relieved. We will be freed from this material bondage. So that way, it's very important for us to control our mind. So the mind should be under the control of the soul, so that we can get out of this material bondage. But if we don't control our mind, then the mind controls ourself, our mind controls the soul, then mind will become our worst enemy. So that's why this mind control is very, very important. And Krishna in the 6th chapter, in the Dhyana Yoga, Krishna is teaching very, very clearly about how to control the mind. So if you go through the lectures in the YouTube, the past lectures, you will understand very nicely about how to control the mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. I'm unmuting Hina. Hina, you can talk with Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Material elements. So, but mind, intelligence, and false ego, ahankara, so they are a part of the subtle body. So you cannot like the soul, you cannot perceive with our senses. You cannot also see the mind, or you cannot with microscope or something. We cannot do it. So that way it is called Stula Sarira. Stula Sarira is the this body, material body. The mind, intelligence, and false ego, ahankara, they are known as Sukshma Sarira. Sukshma Sarira is the subtle body. Stula Sarira is the gross body. So at the time of death, whatever our mind remembers, will get another body. So that way our mind, intelligence, and ahankara goes with the soul to the next body. So that is still a subtle body, still it goes to the next body until we reach Krishna. When we reach Krishna, we will get rid of all these material things completely, then we'll go to Krishna. So you understand about that, Prabhu, now? Murli Krishna, Prabhu?
Prabhu, actually, after death, the soul is moved to other body. So how the soul is searching for other body? I mean, either soul can decide the body. I mean,
whatever one remembers at the time of death, we are going to get that after death. That body we are going to get. That's what in the 8th chapter we studied. So what we are going to remember, it depends. Everything is grouped together. Our mind. Sotram chaksugu sparsanam rasanam granam evacha adhishtaya manaschayam visayan upasevate. So srotram means ears, chaksugu eyes, sparsanam, so that is our skin, rasanam is our tongue, and granam is the nose. So the particular type of ear, nose, tongue. So everybody has got different types of ears, nose, and tongue. Also the snake's tongue is totally different than what we have, correct? So everything what we are going to get the body is, it depends upon adhishtaya manaschayam at the time of death. So our mind, what our mind thinks. So that's what is going to get our next body. That's why Krishna is saying that you always remember me, think of me. So if you remember me at the time of death, you will come to me. Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati sa madbhavam yati nasti atra samjaya. But if you remember something else at the time of death, you will get there. Yamyam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyam te kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavidaga. So whatever we remember at the time of death, we will get it. So you understand that, Prabhu? So that way we need to practice our mind to remember Krishna. So our next body depends upon what we are going to remember at the time of death. Hare Krishna. Is it clear, Prabhu?
Anybody wanted to join our group? No, so we are able to add. We can able to add in a participant list, or
what we can do, Prabhu. Like I will try to send in our WhatsApp groups like the link to join. So basically, Timur Prabhu has created a message. So if that message you can forward to others, they can simply click on that, then join to our WhatsApp.
So group. Automatically can add it. Oh.
Yes. Because the reason is that WhatsApp group can maximum 250 participants. Now we have 16 WhatsApp groups because only 250 participants. So every time, so that way Timur Prabhu has found out a new technique of this using Google group. They can click on it and then you can go and click the WhatsApp group to join. So Timur Prabhu constantly updates that WhatsApp group name in the Google group. So that way it is better, Prabhu. I will send it to our group, Prabhu, today. Maybe you can forward it to everyone. Okay, Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Guruji. I see another new name, Daksha J. Daksha, I will unmute you. You can unmute and get introduced with Guruji. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Senses are superior to dull matter. So the senses are superior to body. So we have, as I explained, there are 5 senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. That is Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. So totally 10 senses. Sometimes this mind is also included in this sense. So Krishna is saying in one shloka, Manas Sastani Indriyani. So that means Manas Sastani Indriyani means 6 senses including the mind. In another shloka, Krishna is saying that Indriyani Dasa Ekam Cha. Dasa Ekam. Dasa is 10, Ekam is 1, 10 plus 1, 11. So 11 senses. So that time Krishna is including both the knowledge acquiring senses and the working senses and mind. When Krishna is saying that Manas Sastani Indriyani, Krishna is referring to mind and the working senses, Karmendriyas. So that way, the mind is also Indriyana Manas Chasmi. Krishna is saying in 10th chapter, of all the senses, I am mind. That's what Krishna is saying, that Indriyana Manas Chasmi. So that way, the mind is the chief sense. The mind is just above the senses. So, Indriyani Parani Agugu, Indriyebhya Param Managa. So the mind is above the senses. Manasastu Para Buddhi. So intelligence is above the mind. Manasastu Para Buddhi. Yo Buddhe Paratastu Saha. The soul is above the intelligence. So very nice analogy is given in Upanishad, like one sloka say that this body is compared to the chariot, Rathina. So Ratinam Sarati. So Ratina means there is a person, there is the Atma. Ratinam, so the Atma is the passenger in the chariot. So then the chariot itself is the body. So this Sariram, that is the Ratham Evacha. Sariram Ratham Evacha. So the chariot itself is the body, and the driver of the chariot is the intelligence. So then Managa Pragraham Evacha. So the mind is the driving instrument which you try to use to control the horses. So then the horses are the senses. So the senses are basically the horses are the senses. So now you understand, like the intelligence that is the driver of the chariot should control the horses, that is the senses, with the help of the mind. So that's why the Indriyani Parani Agugu, the instrument, what the rope, basically you are trying to control the senses. So that is above the senses. And then the intelligence, that is the driver of the chariot who is controlling the senses through the rope. So he is above the mind. So then all of these things above the chariot itself. So without senses, without mind, without intelligence, the chariot is useless. So that way, all these things above the chariot. But the passenger who is riding in the chariot, who is traveling, so that is the soul. The soul is the passenger. So now you understand the difference between mind, soul, intelligence, senses, everything from?
Yes, Guruji. So first senses, then sense is controlled by that ropes are my mind, and then knowledge.
Intelligence.
Okay.
Not knowledge, intelligence, buddhi.
Buddhi. So sense, then mind and intelligence.
Yes, Prabhu. Body, above the body, sense, above the senses, mind, above the mind, intelligence, then the soul.
Soul. Okay.
Yeah, over a period of time when we study again and again, you will understand. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Guruji. I see a name, Trilochan Jina. Trilochan Jina, I think you're joining for the first time. I'm unmuting you. You can unmute yourself and talk with Guruji. Trilochan Jina.
Yeah, yeah. Hare Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I am from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, Jagannath Dham. First
Very
time I joined today. And
Very-
one question I want to ask you: how?
You got muted, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you
Hare
unmute?
Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, yes.
Hare Krishna.
I'm able to hear you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shiva, Prabhu, you are able to hear
Not
me.
audible.
Yes, yes. Trilochan Jina,
You
we
are,
can
you
hear
are audible,
you.
Prabhu. You are audible. You are audible. Yes, Prabhu. Please tell your question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I think there is a signal
How
issue
can
in
we
there.
control our mind? How can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
control our mind?
Okay. How to control your mind? That's a very important question, Prabhu. We already discussed many times in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is teaching in the 6th chapter. So, Dhyana Yoga. I suggest you subscribe to our YouTube channel and go through all the slokas what we studied, especially in the first 32 slokas in the 6th chapter. Krishna is completely teaching about how to control the mind. But to quickly tell you, like we should go to a secluded place. So that means at our home, the place which is not much disturbance is there. So then we need to clean that place. So there is Yunjanyevam Sadatmanam. That is Krishna is saying that Yogi Ragasistitagam. Yogi Yunjita Sadatam Atmanam Ragasistitagam. So there is Ragasistitagam. So then we will Suchau Deshe. So make that place very clean. Suchau Deshe Pradishtapya Sthiramasana Atmanagam. Then sit straight. Don't look at any other directions. So the Samam Kaya Siro Grivam Dharayan Achalam Stiragam. So don't look at any other directions. So just keep your body, mind, body, neck, and head, everything straight. So then don't look. Just look at the tip of the nose. Don't look at any other directions. So then focus, like chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then focus our mind on the transcendental sound vibration. So we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you chant that mantra and focus your mind on that sound vibration, transcendental sound vibration. So that is the way to control our mind. So you, as I just mentioned to you, you go through the past lectures, we discussed at length in the 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga. You understand that, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
It's not fair to ask all the questions. So the first question I want to ask you is, like it's kind of suffer actually when you live in the past. When you live with your past, I understand that the present is, it's peaceful, it's wonderful. We should live in the present, but that is the one thing, I'm facing difficulty to live in the present. Always the past incidents or the past memories, I always, that's hunting me.
Yeah.
So you have any tip or suggestion to give me, how can I to be in the present and enjoy the present moment instead of the past incidents and all the worries? I would like to hear from you.
Yes, Prabhu. In order to forget about the past, you need to get forgetfulness. And Krishna is saying Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying in the 15th chapter, 15th sloka, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishte mattaga smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Mattaga smritir. Smritir means remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So in order to forget about those past things, past bad memories, Krishna has to give us that forgetfulness, apohana. Apohana means forgetfulness. So for that, we need to remember Krishna. If we remember
Okay.
Krishna all the time, then we don't have any time to remember the past. See, mind is always going to be engaged. Idle mind is the devil's workshop. Mind cannot sit idle. So that mind, if we are with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if you are able to focus your mind only on Krishna, not thinking about anything else, so then you will not even find time to think about the past. So that's why Krishna is saying that you always think of me. So manmana, bhava madbhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, mam evesasi, yuktvavam atmana matparayana. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your obeisances unto me. You will come to me. So that way, if you are able to think about Krishna all the time, so that means we should be doing everything for Krishna, all our activities for Krishna. Whatever we do, we should do it for Krishna, as an offering unto Krishna. So then, by Krishna's mercy, we will be able to enjoy. We will not even think about the past. So because we will be always remembering Krishna. So for that, the first thing is that this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is needed, that you are already getting it. So continue studying this Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis. Make sure you attend this class every day and get the full complete knowledge. Then definitely by Krishna's mercy, you will be able to forget about the past, Prabhu, by Krishna's mercy. You understand that?
Thank you, Guruji. I think Vijay Prabhu is unmuted. Vijay Prabhu, you can talk with Guruji.
Yes, sir. Hare Krishna, Guruji. Yeah, I have a question. One, it is said that at the time of death, whatever we are thinking, we get rebirth accordingly that. So if we are thinking of human, I mean birth as a just like man, then we can we get or not?
Yes. Whatever we remember, whatever form we remember, we will get it. That's what Krishna is saying.
No, but we have to repeat for 84 lakhs Janma to get rebirth as a man, or in this today we are man. So next birth will be like man, or we have to go to all 84 lakhs of the
No, we don't have to go to all 8.4 million species of life. As you said that 84 lakhs, we don't have to go through that. That is not needed, because in fact, if we are a devotee, right now for all of us, it is very much true for all of us, because we are studying Bhagavad Gita now. That doesn't mean that we just became a devotee in this life itself. We were in the previous life also, we were humans, we were progressing, we were studying Bhagavad Gita, because this takes many births. It is not possible in just one birth you can forget about everything and surrender unto Krishna. If that is possible, it's really very good. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says that aneka janma samsiddhaga. So at the end of many births, so tato yanti param gatim, he will come to me. Yogi samruddha kilpishagam aneka janma samsiddhaga. So that way, definitely for us, definitely next birth, human life is at least guaranteed for sure, because we are already focused on Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, and remembering Krishna and doing all those things. We are on the path to Krishna. But Krishna is also saying, Arjuna's question, what is the fate of an unsuccessful yogi? He will go and take birth in the pious planet where pious people live. That is prapya punya kritam lokan, usitva saswati saman, and enjoying there as if it was permanent, and again come back and take birth in the aristocratic and devotees family. Then that kind of birth is very rare. Loke janma yadidrisham. So then we will continue from where we stopped. So that way, for us, definitely, if we are not able to go to Krishna in this life, at least next human birth is guaranteed. So we don't have to, for your question, we don't have to go through those 8.4 million, like 84 lakhs of species of life. You understand that, Prabhu?
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Jai Prabhu, you said you are from Kerala, but from which place in Kerala, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Prabhu.